Hi everyone, as you may be aware, there have been some new drone legislation changes as of the 1st of January this year that were brought in by the CAA. So for the next couple of minutes then we're just going to chat about why they've come about and what they actually are and how they affect you kind of going forward. So obviously the rules and regs change all the time anyway, but the reason behind these changes is more to do with tighter governance of the low altitude airspace. As more and more people start to use drones, okay, the lower airspace below 400 feet is going to start to become more congested, so we need tighter controls to make sure that everybody can operate in the airspace safely. Okay, and it's not just other drone users, it's obviously things like the police, the ambulance, the Coast Guard, and the UK military low-flying system as well. With more people operating drones for either hobbyist use or commercial use, then the odds of us coming up against a low-flying military aircraft are obviously going to increase if we're outside a controlled airspace and in some of the picturesque valleys and mountaintops that the RAF and the Army and the Navy like to fly around. So as of the first, the changes mainly affect the open category of flying. Right, so the low-risk kind of operations that many of us are still carrying out today. So I think the main difference that will affect the majority of people in the open category is the fact that they've very subtly changed the definition for visual line of sight. As you're probably aware, visual line of sight was always direct, unaided visual contact with your aircraft at all times, which is obviously linked to how big the aircraft is, what colour it is, what the environment was, and all that kind of stuff. All right, but there was never any need to have an observer on hand to help you out. So the wording has changed very subtly from direct, unaided visual line of sight, which means obviously you're not allowed to use binoculars or telescopes or anything, but they've now included that it's direct, unaided visual line of sight with the aircraft, no binoculars, no telephoto lens, no phones, no tablets, and no goggles either. All right, so that's actually quite a big change from the way that we're used to doing things. I think basically what that means is if you're going to go out and just do photography with your drone in the open category, then you're fine to go and do it on your own because you can look at the aircraft, you can position it, you can take your photograph, and you can carry on flying. Where it really becomes a problem is if you're flying and you're trying to do video work, which again, the majority of us are still trying to do. So whenever you look at the screen of your phone, your tablet, or whether it's one of the built-in RCs, then that is effectively you flying FPV, okay? And as with the old wording, anytime you fly with FPV, then you must have an observer to take on the airspace observation that you are obviously not doing because you're looking at the screen. Okay, so that could potentially be quite a big change. It's going to affect how we do business, and it's also going to affect how much you're going to be able to charge the client because you're going to need to employ extra spotters and things like that. The wording hasn't changed for what a competent observer is. So again, for the most part, if I ever used to use observers, then I would tend to use staff members or from of the clients, or use the clients themselves. Okay, as long as they're briefed up on exactly what they must do, what they're looking at, what they need to tell you, then and you deem them as a competent observer, then that is okay. You're still not allowed to fly over crowds or assemblies of people, but again, they're reiterating the fact that you must read the user manual for your aircraft. I know that sounds like a silly thing to say, but having been training people for the last sort of 9 or 10 years, the amount of people that don't read the user manual is quite extreme. All right, you can save yourself a lot of money, time, hassle, and expense just by reading the manual and finding out how all the systems work on your aircraft. Okay, so again, that's just been reiterated in the new regs that is a requirement of the remote pilot to understand how their aircraft works. You're probably aware that remote ID has come in as well. So remote ID is linked to your operator ID. And it must be entered into your aircraft for any of the new UK class marked aircraft that are coming out. All right, the legacy stuff for anything purchased before the 1st of January, that will come in time. Okay, but for now, anything UK class marked must have remote ID. It isn't actually your operator ID. You must go through the CAA's website, through your registration area, and they will give you a code to enter into your control unit. The drone code has actually been updated a little bit as well. So if you have a look at the drone code, obviously you can just Google that or have a look at CAP 2320. Paragraph 37 now tells you that you are allowed to use the follow me mode as the remote pilot with no VLOS requirements, but you must keep the aircraft within 50 meters of yourself. When it comes down to the actual categories of flying, again, this is now changed with regards to the new UK class markings that have been brought in. All right, so if you have a legacy aircraft that isn't class marked at all, then your rules are as they were before. Okay? If you buy an aircraft now that does have a UK class mark or a European class mark up until the 31st of December 2027, they are a direct correlation with each other. Okay, so for C0, you can read UK 0 as well. So, with regards to flyer IDs, any aircraft that is above 100 grams, you must now have a flyer ID. Any aircraft that is above 100 grams and has a camera on it or some kind of recording sensor, you must also have an operator ID, right, which must be on your aircraft as well. The class markings then have caused slight changes in the actual subcategories themselves. So the A1 subcategory will still be flying over people, so you're still allowed to overfly uninvolved people. Obviously keep that to an absolute minimum and don't plan to do it. Okay, and we're only talking about individuals or the odd couple of people here and there, not over crowds or assemblies of people at any point ever. So a UK 0 style aircraft or a class marked aircraft, less than 250 grams, then obviously you can overfly people. If you have a UK 1 or a C1 class aircraft, you can also now operate that in the A1 subcategory. That now takes you up to drones that weigh up to 900 grams. So that brings things, not only the mini series, but it now also brings in aircraft like the DJI Air 3S or even the Avatar 2. So that actually widens the scope of things that you can fly over or near people, which is quite useful. Obviously, just to reiterate, that is only for aircraft that are UK class marked. With the A2 subcategory, so we're now into the near to people category. Again, legacy aircraft, the rules haven't changed. But if you have a UK or a C2 marked aircraft, so UK2 or C2 marked aircraft, right, that now takes you up to 4 kilos in the A2 subcategory. Your separation distances will come down to now 30 meters, and if you have a slow speed mode on your aircraft, you are allowed down to 5 meters from uninvolved people. Right? Slow speed mode basically equates to 3 meters a second or 6.7 miles an hour. A3, so far from people, very little change to the A3 subcategory so far. So if you have a UK 2 or a C2 marked aircraft, but you don't have an A2 certificate of competence, then you can fly that, or you've got to fly that in the A3 subcategory, as well as UK 3 and UK 4 class aircraft. If you own a UK 5 or 6 class aircraft, then you cannot fly those in the open category. You can only fly those in the specific category under a PDRA or a SORA. So I know that the new drone regs and the drone regs in general are fairly confusing. So if you are looking to get qualified, if you're looking for a refresher, you just want to find out more about drones and how to implement them in your business or how to scale your business, then by all means, please get in touch via LinkedIn or any of our other social channels. I'll be more than happy to chat you through all the changes and everything that you need to do to keep safe and legal.